we're going to attempt interior for the first time ever. And half the cars I have, the interior's falling apart, so this might be a sweet skill to finally learn now that I got a little extra time and a perfect car to do it on. Today we're working on the 65 Buick Skylark again. And we're gonna obviously do some much needed improvement. So we're in a little bit of a crunch time. It's currently Tuesday. We're trying to get the interior knocked out of this car and clean it up a little bit. Outside, I'm leaving it as is for right now, but I took it to a local car show and somebody was being artistic and wrote "Warsh Me" with some nice art there. So this guy said he wants to help clean them. We'll throw them on the trunk and have them clean that off. Okay. Alright, you spray the window and I will wipe her down. Oh yeah.
Now I think.
Need to be bird poop. Bird poop. We're taking first place with this weekend.
Wash the bird poop.
There we go.
Now the bird poop. Oh, bird poop!
I can see again. Dang, birds pooping on our cars.
After this, let's go on the front one.
Oh, alright. So here we are in the garage. Just got back from Menards and I picked up some of this 1/8 inch, basically ABS plastic to make the door panel cards. Originally, they were some sort of like cardboard, and the problem with this is over time it gets wet, moisture, and the cardboard starts to warp, hence kind of the issues we have here. Now, this leather on the door card, total trash. So I got a new one, and we're gonna try and make these as close to original, but also on a budget. So, meaning I probably won't have the stitch lines in it because I don't have a sewing machine, and I don't necessarily have thousands of dollars to put into an interior car. But if we can make her look pretty good, it'd be worth it. So what I'm going to do is kind of some pros with the ABS is essentially waterproof. You can glue to it, you can screw to it, make it look really nice, and even better than original. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all the trim off this because I'm actually going to put that back on it and try and make it look as close to OE as possible. And we're going to lay this out, trace it out, and then we'll use like a jigsaw or something to cut the plastic. And then you can use sanders to kind of clean up the edges and round it a little bit, or you could use a router as well if you had that. But let's pull this old door panel apart and start tracing. So I should mention, never done this before, but you know, any way to learn is try it, screw it up, and figure it out the next time. So I laid this down and I tried to press that down as much as I could while I traced out all my holes. And there we go. Let's get her installed. I'm going to use a couple things. I'm going to use the straight edge and kind of just straighten up these lines a little bit since that's been tore up. Once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and use the circular saw and basically do a rough cut on it to get it out. We got a rough cut. I'm going to go ahead, grab the jigsaw, and cut these out, and then might go test fit it on the Buick over there and just kind of get a layout and see how it feels. We can see there's 3 mounting holes there. There is 4 bolts along the bottom. Then on the top side, it's actually supposed to slide up into this chrome piece here. Fortunately, this is a lot thicker than the factory cardboard, so we're gonna have to bend that out just ever so slightly. I can almost tuck this in there, but we still gotta put leather and stuff on this yet. That isn't looking too shabby. I noticed that it's kind of hard to see, but she's kicking over a touch there, but down here it kind of follows the door line real good. I like it. The front looks like it could kick over this way, so maybe I just need to bring the whole panel that way to touch. I can't believe it. I might be pulling this off. I think what I need to do is shave kind of like a 45-degree angle on the very top side, so this will actually tuck up just a touch more, because where our armrest bolts into, the hole is like at the top of these. So this still needs to slide up just a touch. But it's not really sticking down past the bottom of the door, so I think she's gonna work. So we're gonna jump forward about 4 weeks, because somehow I lost the footage from pulling the door panel off and actually spraying the adhesive and wrapping it and putting the trim on, the speakers and all that jazz. And the funny thing is you learn from your mistakes. So as you saw, I was just installing the plastic into our channel here, and you know, all went well. I put it on, I got the door handles on. For the life of me, it took everything I had to get the little clips that slide onto your door handle and to your window crank handle. Funny story is, you'll find out we went to a car show, I get back and I'm driving the car, and literally all the door handles just fall off. Like, they were on there good, like you couldn't pull them off, the clips were on, you know, a week went by and they all fell off. So now here we are, the car is completely gutted, which you're going to see in the next episode after this week, but I need to pull these back off and essentially take a grinder and take this down a little bit, because these door panels are simply too thick. I'm not going to go waste money and buy some thinner stuff and do it right. I'm gonna make this work, and we can actually maybe benefit from this and give it a little bit of, you know, perspective, and like indent that a little bit, you know, make it look like that's how it was supposed to be. So we're going to pull this back off. I'm going to peel the leather back off, and we'll go through this process so you can see it start to finish this time, since apparently all my footage disappeared from it. So let's get this removed and show you how it's done. Alright, don't mind my dog eating in the background, but valuable lesson here. What have we learned? Buy thinner material. As you can see, I got like the 1/8 inch thick, and overall it worked okay, but had I gone a thinner one, I could have got the factory clips that go here and just push into the door itself. But honestly, this is supported real good with the bolts on the bottom. I'm not too concerned about it. Another thing I had to do was basically file this down a little bit so it isn't as thick on this end, so it would actually slide up. So it would actually slide up in this channel here. Now for the main reason we're having issues is how thick this is. It doesn't allow the handle to slide all the way on and for that clip to actually catch the groove it's supposed to go in. So I got just a flat disc here on a grinder, and to the best of my ability, maybe I'll trace it out with a pencil a little bit wider. Proper way would probably be set the handle there and outline the handle, and we can actually go, I'll probably go that big. It basically look like it's indented a little bit in the leather once we put that back on. So let's trace this out, make the circle a little bit bigger, and then we're gonna just take the grinder and slowly work at it. Alright, so my daughter stole my nice Milwaukee Sharpie, so I did the proper thing and went and stole one of her Crayola markers. I'm gonna trace this out. Try and center it best I can. You know, shop hack. Hell paying the price on those premium markers when you can go get yourself a box of Crayola markers for $5.99 at your local Walmart. They work just as good. Now I need to find something bigger. Ah yes, empty beer can. That'll be the perfect diameter. Use what you got. Doesn't need to be Busch Light. Could be Miller, PBR, all the good stuff. Oh, that's perfect there. This is gonna look legit. I'm holding on to that marker. Alright. Put our safety glasses on. See how much we can't mess this up. Alright, now I'm going to slide this up there and see how the handles fit on the door. Oh yeah, that's much gooder. We got a mile of room now. So, I'm going to wipe off our mess we just made. It's going to be a miracle if I can line this back up. So here's the process. I got all the holes drilled for our handles now. We got everything kind of ground out to where it needs to be. I'm going to apply the Loctite adhesive I got from Menards. Stuff's the same thing as like upholstery adhesive, except it's like a fraction of the cost. I think these are like $4 a can. And it seemed to hold up pretty good. It's been 30 degrees, it's been 100 degrees, and it hasn't came off. So we're going to use it. So, nope, there we go. Not going to be afraid to use this. There we go. Now, we have the leather I purchased at Joann's Fabric in Ames. We need to try to line this up. What I'm doing is just kind of working the air bubbles by peeling it up and just pressing on it. This went a lot easier the first time, but you live and you learn, am I right or am I wrong? Also, I had a nice table. I did this on the first time, and now I'm working off my son's helmet and a stroller, so the table isn't the greatest, but hey, we're making it work. I think I need to apply a little bit more glue in here, because it's not wanting to stick very good. And heck, you can apply it to the leather too, man. Don't be afraid to use this stuff. Oh yeah, immediately. Much gooder. So, we got this tacking up. What I like to do is kind of start putting stuff together. And what that's going to do is help hold this into place. There we go. And originally, when I first put glue on this, like, I had clamps all around and I was trying to like stretch it and pull it and everything to get all the creases out of there. Worked really well. I just bought those 99-cent plastic clamps from Menards and was able to get that on. So essentially, this is kind of the process of how I did the door panels. Lesson learned, make sure to get thinner door panels. Don't use 1/8 inch. Wood would have been a good option, but the reason I opted against it is because it's like $600 for the door seals in this thing. And I didn't have any intentions of spending that kind of money on this car quite yet. And so with the plastic ones, if the windows do happen to leak a little water, if it gets left outside or something. So that's why I went this route. Have I done it again with a car that doesn't leak water at all? I'd probably go the wood route. It's a probably cheaper route rather than this. I know these door cards, I did find them online for like 160 bucks. But that gets pretty pricey. I mean, man, you're over $300 already. And I had like not even $100 in the 4x8 sheet of plastic. And even wood, you can probably get cheaper than that. But the plastic was just a route for these circumstances. So this is pretty much finished here. I'm going to flip it over, bend these tabs over, finish gluing the corners around. I might throw the clamps on it just so it doesn't move. And door panels are finished. Let's go back to the original video. Call this the working man's sander here. Just clean that up. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Restored. Oh, there we go. Alright, we're on like day 4 of interior, and we got the door panel in. Gave her a quick spray down on the roof, so that is all cleaned. I did drop our visors on both sides, found a giant mouse nest in both those corners. So it's smelling pretty good in here now. Our next project is to remove that seat in the center console, and we got some new carpet, and I actually sourced this from Menards, super cheap. So if you go to Menards or any kind of big box store for carpet, usually they have like an automotive type carpet there, and I got I think 10 or 12 feet of automotive carpet, 6 foot wide, for $32. And usually, like with Menards, we get rewards for everything. I didn't spend a cent on it. Yes, it's not the pre-molded carpet, that you buy for $100 to $300 on eBay or something, but this should be pretty decent. We're gonna vacuum the floor and then put spray adhesive on it, and then kind of push it down and tack it down. That'll kind of help hold it in place and should mold it to the floor essentially. So I don't know. We're going to give it a shot. I haven't tried it before. Yet again, another new thing we're attempting here. Little guy's going to help me out. Let's get that seat out in the center console. The seat out.
Now we have to vacuum on that side.
That's right.
Can I help you with some things?
Well, we need to figure out how to remove this piece. Helper in training. Another light bulb. What's crazy about this car is there's a lot of accessories type, it's a higher end car essentially, so like it's got lights here, lights there, lights on all 4 corners, had a dome light at one point in time, just lights everywhere.
What is it, Dada?
Looks like we got one connector here.
Mouse poo.
Here we go. Center console is removed. We'll finish vacuuming this up and figure out what we can do for some carpet. Alright. Got our carpet here. I have seen some cars do it in 2 pieces, like you'll do the front section and just have it end right underneath the middle of the seats. That way you don't see your seam, and it makes it easier to work with. So I think that's going to be a good strategy. The front's going to be easier. It's straight flat. Once I get to the back, there's a giant hump. I think it's going to be kind of tough to get this carpet to mold up over that, because it's kind of thicker and obviously not molded. But we'll tackle that once we get to that point.
Whoa!
Oh yeah, we're gonna have plenty.
How's that got all fit in here?
Well, we're gonna have to cut it and shape it. So I'm just gonna roughly eyeball this. We got the front of our seat right here, the back right here, so as long as we're kind of in this vicinity, we can cut this, and then to hide that cut line, I can flip the carpet on the back side around and overlap it, and then you won't even notice that, our terrible unstraight line. Now, what I could do is, mark the carpet on both sides, pull it out, put a straight edge, mark the back side or something to cut it straight, but kind of unnecessary step, and I'm trying to get this done before the weekend, so. must say, this is such a tedious process. Honestly, I think it might even come out better than a pre-molded pad. Granted, I've only installed one before in my life, and I had issues like, you know, it's sitting just right versus this. While I'm like gluing this as I go, little at a time, I'm able to honestly kind of work the carpet pretty decent until I kind of get to the one end, because it's like, I think I'm fighting all the curvatures and it starts pulling the carpet funny. And so the corners, I'm kind of seeing the carpet want to bunch up and not necessarily lay flat. Alright, so I just had a breakthrough. Also got Rugrat 2 out here trying to help. So since I'm on the back, I'm like, I'm going to give this a shot. So on all the real serious corners, I keep having it essentially, don't mind the hand. Get your hand out of the way. I keep having to do this on all the major corners, and there's just no way around that. So on this one, once I spliced it, I just put some glue down there and kind of packed it down, and honestly, it looks pretty good. You know, the average person probably wouldn't even hardly notice that small little like overlap on the carpet. So I am happy with that. Now that I know how to do that, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of make a relief cut there. You can fold the one down flat and then kind of trim up the other piece and lay it right over top, kind of like I did here. So here I made my relief cut up this corner, and honestly I just split this up the middle here because the bench seat goes all the way across. You'll never see that portion. It's kind of fighting me right now. I think what I might do is just continue this cut here. I just don't know how to do it and make it look right, but you know, kind of learn as we go here. So I might just, oh, there we go. There we go. So now I got that relief cut in there. You can see this is folding down over like so. So now that I kind of have my working area good here, how I like it, I'm going to peel this back. Grab my can of glue. I'm going to glue up into that edge there. Just kind of tack this into place. Now your glue's not going to really want to set up for about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So you can kind of tuck it into place where you want, and I'll just let it sit here. I'll go take a drink, cold beverage, come back, and it's usually pretty tacky, so if it has kind of popped up, I can just go back in there and kind of press it down. And honestly, you're not going to really notice if it's popping out too much, because we're going to have driver's seat here, and I have bench seat here. You're not going to really see much of this area. We're not building, you know, $150,000 car here. We're making a nice, solid $8,000 car with paint and everything eventually down the road. Oh, she's looking perfect. I even kind of left that tuck up there, you know, some sort of insulator between the front and the back, because every time I drive down a gravel, dust just comes through all the little cracks. Originally they had like a piece of cardboard that went and covered that. I don't know if I may just put a piece of my plastic that I've been using for like the door panels or something across that, or honestly if I have carpet left over I can just put a single piece of carpet over there, and that'll just kind of be a barrier between where we're sitting and the trunk of the car. It's pretty comfy in here, huh? Yeah, use your butt to help hold this down. You're helping and you don't even know it. A 1-year-old. I was also very surprised. These bolts came out without snapping them. I was expecting the worst and received the best. I love it when that happens. Oh yeah, it's gonna hide everything perfectly. Center console installed. I think I'm going to go ahead and attach the back to this. I unfortunately don't think I'm going to have time to mess with these back panels before we make it to the big car show, which is what it is at that point. You know, doesn't smell too bad. I think our cleaner solution worked. Yeah, it's kind of a trick to yeah, go in this way first, maybe. We got our backrest in. Now we can slide the base in. Installed. Not looking too shabby. I don't think it's quite in. Where are you supposed to connect to? There we go. Now, oh yeah. I can cruise in this thing. Yeah, looking like a complete car in there. What are you doing? You think you want to go for a ride? Not a bad choice of transportation, huh? Alright, get out. Get dog hair everywhere. Get out, 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 out. Try and line her up here. Just kind of slides up into this top groove, like so. Well, we finished up some of the interior, basically just bolting the seats on last night. And we put the Buick on the trailer. We are heading 3 hours eastbound to a town called Guttenberg, Iowa, where they have the River Park Cruisers car show this Saturday. It's a good turnout. As far as amount of cars going and whatnot. It's a lot of like original factor cars. You don't get much out of the ordinary. Leave it to me to show up with probably the rustiest car out there. But it's all around good time. My uncle builds rat rods, kind of the first time he's got his car out, so I'm meeting up with him so we can cruise together and go to this car show. So I am on my way to pick up my kids. I'm dropping them off at their grandma's, and we will be showing some car tent all weekend on this video. So, well, we got the Rugrats loaded up. We're on boring old Highway 20. There's really not much to see other than that nice Buick back there on the trailer. And, you know, I probably would have drove it, but since I'm hauling my kids back to drop them off at their grandma's, then there just isn't enough room to put everything, so playing her the safe route. Well, we rolled in just before dark to Guttenberg. We're gonna stay at night here at my parents', and we'll get that unloaded in the morning, kind of freshen her up, go meet up with my uncle, and hit up the car show. See you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. We are at the car wash on the day of the car show. Now, this is the first time I've actually ever washed this car, so if the paint falls off, paint falls off. Let's get this thing washed and see how well she cleans up. Well, the rear is looking real good, if you know what I mean. Let's see how much water we got inside. Ah, we're good. I hope it starts. Come on. Oh yeah, fires right up, I love it. Alrighty. God, this thing is getting harder and harder every day to sell. That's kind of my ultimate goal with this thing. It is a super awesome car. And honestly, I want this thing to be drove as much as possible. And I don't know if I'll have the opportunities, unfortunately, but I am looking for a wagon. Now that I got the 2 kids and the wife and everything, like, I love 2 doors. I would rather have this car, but a 4-door wagon would be super cool for the family, just to have an ultimate cruiser in. So that is kind of my ultimate goal with this car. We're going to sell it eventually after we have our fun with it and, you know, continue to fix it up. But so far, first wash success. I didn't touch the roof. You know, we couldn't get rid of that nice patina on there. And I was trying to figure out why it only rusted like right here. And little did I know, Kevin with Junkyard Digs was explaining that on these vinyl top cars, they had a crease where the vinyl overlaps right there. And that must be where water holds. There's no holes or anything, but it's a little bit rougher than, say, just the surface rust of the rest of the car. But yeah, I'm liking it. I'm gonna give it just a quick little wipe down on the interior and wait for my uncle to show up, and we will cruise to the show. So for those that don't know, Guttenberg is a historic river town. So you got the Mississippi River here. I've seen this all flooded before when the river raises up in the spring. This whole area floods too every springtime usually. I've done a lot of ice fishing over here in this part of the river. There's a little bay back here and it's perfect where the bluegills and everything else is. Look how green the water is. Oh, we don't have a $10,000 paint job. Gravel. Oh yeah. Some really good ice fishing over there. If you're ever in this area in the wintertime when it's cold. And if there's ice. It can be dangerous though, given it is the river. There's something about cruising an old classic along the river. Beautiful, beautiful freaking territory to drive. A lot of motorcycles, classic cars. I love this area, especially in the fall time, because when the leaves are changing, it's incredible. It's all bluffs around here. Everybody thinks Iowa's all flat and cornfields, which, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of cornfields around here, but if you follow the river, either on the Wisconsin side or the Iowa side here, it's an amazing drive.
The first guy to give me money.
Well, we got her form. We put her in the rat rod class since she's just a barn find. I don't know if I want to set her over there with the 65 to 69 cars, but let's go ahead and go get registered and see what we got here. Well, we're in the rat rod class. Barn find car, nothing special. Well, the car show's over and we're on the cruise. We got my uncle in front of me. Not going on the whole cruise because unfortunately we just don't quite trust the cars to go that far quite yet, but we're gonna stay on here for a while and see how the cars do. This is kind of his first time as well getting the car out, but so far it was an overall great car show. I think they had 190 cars there, so I'm just gonna put the hammer down. We got a big hill to climb and see how the cars do. So far we're not overheating or anything like that. Nice and peaceful in here. She's 87 degrees out. Well, we've gone about 15 miles so far, the car. Running good. I haven't seen any like fuel issues or ignition issues. She is pushing it on the temperature. She's running about 195 right now. But mind you, over here in northeast Iowa, we're talking about giant cliffs of hills to have to go up, so she's getting hot doing that. But other than that, kind of once we get back up on top of the hill and start cruising, she cools back down. We're almost to a standstill coming into town. I'm starting to peak on 200. I'm pretty sure that the clutch fan on this thing is wore out and not actually working properly. So I think that's gonna have to be something we address at some point, but honestly, just cruising at like 10 miles an hour, she's coming back down slowly. So that's good, as long as we don't stop. Definitely tell I have a valve issue, and you can hear the pop, but now you can hear it where it sounds like backfire pops out of the exhaust when I'm doing about 60 and let off. Kind of a telltale sign. Yes, certain exhaust systems can do it, but valves with issues can also do it. So I'm kind of getting some of that, which I kind of knew, but me and my uncle broke away from the pack of cars. We're gonna head to his house. My car randomly died going through town for some reason, but it's got that deal where it's like, you drive for 15 minutes, it's like the car just shuts off. And then usually I'm on the highway and it comes back on, but in town I was going so slow, it just ended up shutting off on me, so. Don't know what that is yet. I have yet to figure it out, but we're almost here. Well guys, that's going to wrap it up for this week's video. We had a great time going to the car show. Big thanks to this little one for helping me out so much with the interior and cleaning this thing and everything else. The car cruise went well. It did die that one time like I've mentioned, but I think it's got a points issue with it. we'll get that solved out in some of the future videos. But overall, I'm so happy with this car. It was the only Buick in the entire car show out of 192 cars. So that was pretty cool. It's not the prettiest, sounds the coolest. It also did a one hell of a burnout later tonight while we were eating supper. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.